everyone. Welcome to Detention. We're back again.
Oh, it's my favorite place to be.
Back again.
I know. Keep me in after class.
What's brought you to detention today?
I couldn't even tell you. The sins are so numerous.
Really?
Yeah.
Really quite sinful this month, have you?
I'll tell you this much. Guess who drove their car into a brick wall kind of on the way here?
Really?
Just scraped the side.
Again?
This was the other side.
Oh, okay.
I have a very hard to get out of car park at work. At home.
Same thing.
Same thing. Anyway, that's one sin. So I can be here for that. Otherwise,
I think that's a good sin.
I've been purely obnoxious for 2 days straight.
Yeah, that's good. Sometimes you got to throw them in like a couple of obnoxious days every calendar month.
Yeah, since Thursday I've been tough to
sinning.
Yeah, tough to be around because I've been just like trial and error, throwing different things out. Yeah, with no sense of the consequences.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of good. You got to have that. I think I stand by it. You got to schedule them in.
Yeah.
Normally that's a better idea, like way to do it. But I accept that you've just thrown them in at random, keeping the people in your life on their toes.
I think it's good. I think sometimes people call that PMS, but other times
it's just planned chaos.
It's planned chaos.
Yeah.
It's monthly chaos.
Monthly chaos. What have I done recently that's kind of bad? I actually don't know.
Stop bragging.
I don't know. I ate onion when I shouldn't have.
Stop bragging.
I closed the door of an elevator on someone the other day because I didn't want to get in with them. I didn't want them to get into my elevator. I wanted to have a box of silence for three seconds.
That's fair.
Yeah, I've not really been on one.
That's self-care.
Yeah.
That's good to know though, but I'm sure they hate you. So
whatever.
That's good to know. All right, so I have a theory I want to unpack with you.
Please.
I have now realized that man and woman are genders or gendered, but boy and girl are not.
Okay.
Because I feel like, have you noticed like in culture there's or society, people are talking about you just call anyone like boys, So like if it's a bunch of friends, you'll just be like, jump in, boys, we're getting froget.
Hang on. Did you just make up your own language in that?
Yeah. That's how I address my friends.
It sounds like Simlish.
Yeah, I think, I'm always addressing people as like, boys, but I also know there are a lot of like other friends that address everyone as girly.
Yeah. Okay. So what you're saying is like are we talking about boys and girls as collective nouns? As
collective nouns, but also as a way to just refer to like, within like, I guess queer culture and stuff, refer to ourselves and each other. So people will just be like, I'm that kind of girl, even if they're not a girl, or they'll be like this guy or this boy. You know what I mean? Like these colloquial terms are almost like increasingly non-gendered at the moment.
I don't think that. Well, are they non-gendered in like the tie back to quote biological base? Like what's it called? Like because so here's my thing. I do think that boy and girl are gendered in the way that they are communicating gendered ideas. But the reception of those gendered ideas are not intended to be heteronormative or like cisgendered.
Yeah, okay.
So it's like, if I call myself a girly, I'm not saying that I'm a girl, but I am pulling on the ties to femininity that the word girly has when you use it in relation to an actual girl, like a quote unquote actual girl.
Yeah. Like I am
like it's you just talk, like if I'm like, like let's go girlies, like it's kind of like let's go in like a feminine way.
Yeah. I'm a shopping girly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. And I think on the flip side, then when you're talking about like the boys,
the boys.
It's my dream to have the boys. I think that's the thing as well. Like I am always trying to bro out. So like if I know about 2 boys and I know 2 straight guys.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly just badgering them to bro out with me. Yeah. And they're not typical bros.
But that's the thing, because I feel like now we're talking about like almost subcultures of genders.
Right.
Because it's like you've got bros, you've got guys, you've got dudes, you've got pals, you've got men. They're all different. Like I don't know any bros do I know guys? Yes. So, but they're different to bros. So it's like, do I know girlies? Up until recently, I didn't, but I do now. Do I know
Interesting.
like gals?
Who's a new girly that's entered your life?
Well, I would say my sister is a girly, and like our like good friend Laura is also a girly, but I hadn't really hung out with them exclusively. So I would never have considered them girlies because they weren't my girlies, but now I'm in there. And so they're my girlies because they're my two token girly friends.
Got it. And then what's a gal?
A gal would be like more of like, now this ties back probably to age. They're my like kind of millennial friends who are girls who enjoy like a wine, but like aren't the same as the girlies. The girlies have like a sense of youthfulness to them that the gals don't. And I mean that respectfully.
Okay. What am I?
You're just a guy.
Oh, thank God.
Like you're just a silly guy to me. I
know. I think this, because I've been having this thing about, being perceived. Now, this is sort of separate to how I feel in my gender.
Okay.
But I'm talking specifically about how my gender is perceived by others.
Yes.
Based on my appearance.
So you've got like the baseline, you're a woman. Well, like I'm going to say use the word woman, and then, but that's kind of like less important to you than like the frontage.
Well, I think, I don't know, like it's kind of funny when I'm like, I don't accept binary gender as a concept and I do not agree with it.
Yes.
So therefore I do not place myself on that binary spectrum.
Like how could you? Yeah.
How could you? Because I reject it as an idea.
Yes.
But I also am not going to, I don't have those experiences of feeling innately non-binary. So
Yes.
I don't know if you can be like politically non-binary or anything like that. I'm not sure. But I basically am like, I'm opting out of binary gender. However, I'm obviously for all intents and purposes, like pretty happy with how I express myself in terms of, my style, how I look, how I talk, how I engage with the world, whatever. So what I cannot handle though is that more and more I am being grouped in with women.
And you don't feel like you belong there.
No, I don't feel like I belong there. Like when people say like, as women, we need to, and I'm like, you might need to.
That's how I felt as a teenager when I was learning about feminism, and all of the other girls around me were becoming conscious of like the patriarchy and wanting to like fight back and kind of becoming like politicized, rightfully so. And I was like, I get it, but like for you.
Yeah,
like, it's
I love that growing feminist consciousness for you.
Well, like, but that's the thing. Like, I'm like, I don't disagree with you, but like they were like, come on, like, don't you experience this as well? And I'm like, but like no, not through the same lens as you. And I could never really get what that was. And
interesting.
And that's why I was like, And I think for me, that's really led me down the path of like realizing that I'm like essentially genderless because I don't feel like I belong anywhere. So is that like a similar thing?
It is. It's that exact similar thing where I'm often, people will refer to me and they'll say things like, or appeal to me as a woman. And I kind of hate it because I'm like, well, that's good. But if I hear like as women, we need to, or how can we get better representation as women, whatever people are talking to me about at the time, I've started to realize that I can't stand that, especially when I am praised for whatever it is I'm doing as a woman or something like that. And if there are men around talking about, women, even if it's in a resoundingly positive way, I am like, whoa, you've got the wrong bloke. I'm like, so I don't know what it is. Like,
Hannah, it just sounds like gender dysphoria. I'm sorry.
Oh!
But that's the thing. Like, do you, and the question I would pose to you is like, when, say, for example, you're in a situation where people are positing you as a woman and saying congratulations or kind of signaling that you're part of like the women group, let's call it, and there are men around, do you kind of have this feeling of like, oh, actually, I should be like speaking from like that side of the room with you guys? Like,
I feel like a gnome.
All right, so maybe we're like
But I don't want to, I'm not like a neo-gender that's a gnome, to be clear. I think what annoys me is, you know, as a writer or whatever, people will be like, we need more women writers, or like, you know, how is it blah as a woman's writer? And I'm like, I wasn't very womanly when I wrote the book or this, that, and the other. So I think
maybe it's like a neurodivergent thing as well.
It really could be. I do, however, like to be addressed as a girl, even though I'm like an adult.
Like girls is in like a serious use of girls. Like if it was like saying like a boomer woman and she was like, girls, come on. And she was like using the word girls because she saw you as a woman but used the word girls instead. Is that the form that you like accepted in?
I think so. I think it's like, or if someone says, I like girls. Like
you're like, I'm a girl.
So I'm a girl. Yeah. So you like me. That's great. Or like,
that's so interesting.
If someone said, you know, I really like the term girlfriend to describe me, even though it's sort of infantilizing, I guess, in a sense to other people, or maybe misrepresents how long I've been with, you know, my partner.
Yeah.
But I still like to be referred to as someone's girlfriend. I think it's fun. And I think the idea of like, if I'm in a store and I'm like, I would never be like, where is the women's section? I would be like, where are the girls' clothes?
Okay.
Like I still feel like there's because I'm very, like I love girly stuff, like feminine stuff. And I like the idea of like just being a gal, but not a woman, because that gives me like mature, luxurious ice cream commercial vibes.
Yeah. So maybe is it less, I guess, gender dysphoria, like that's not just for trans people, like cis people can experience that too. So, but like, do you think it's like,
can they?
Yeah. Like why do you think some people get lip fillers?
Interesting. I mean,
like everything we do is like affirming our gender. And if we are experiencing something that makes our gender feel not affirmed, it's like you can experience even just a moment of gender dysphoria. Like gender dysphoria technically is like, I guess, like a diagnosable thing, but the concept of it, anyone can experience gender dysphoria.
Interesting. I mean, I have experienced that when for example, like when I was freezing my eggs and I had to take all that estrogen. So I like had like really massive boobs and I was just like,
get them off.
But I think as well, what's interesting is I'm like, why do I love being called a girl? I also, I would not want to be called a boy and I would not want to be called a man.
No.
But I could happily be a bro.
Okay, well maybe you're having like a terse time trying to navigate your experience of girlhood versus womanhood.
Interesting.
Because I do think that like I have really strong ties to like girlhood in a way. Like there's a microcosm in my mind that's like girlhood and like enjoying that experience. But I don't experience life as a girl, but I have experienced girlhood.
I mean, I experience it is in like if you and I were, for example, when we went to Disneyland, I got a hat and you got whatever, I would be comfortable us being like two gals at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Despite you not being a girl.
No, yeah.
Because to me, I was just like, because of the way that we express ourselves, that just like made total sense. And we were like, you know, getting fairy floss or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, okay, cool. I'm desperate to be a bro.
Yeah.
But I would never say, I guess I would never experience you and I going somewhere as, well, I don't know what our collective noun would be.
Well, that's the thing. And I don't know either. I'm interested.
Because it's certainly not folk.
No, it's not folks. I mean, I like the word folks. I do feel like I've got to be in like this is the thing. This is where I'm like, is this like kind of, obviously everything we do is like through the lens of neurodivergence, but in this kind of gripe you're having like with your inner world, like I do think that sometimes and this is where I've come to like with my gender in particular, kind of like, and I'll do like a coming out video, I suppose. Like I am just like essentially very genderless, but that doesn't mean I don't have experiences of gender and I don't like categorize things in a way in some like, because everything has an expression of gender. Doesn't mean that binary gender exists. Like I know I'm getting like kind of abstract now.
Interesting.
But it's like, for example, if you take like a day out at Disneyland, I would agree and say that like even depending on like what I was wearing or like the hat that we bought or the fairy floss or the rides we went on would determine how I feel and what language I would use to describe that day. So for example, like if we were wearing hiking, and this is me and my experience of gender, right? So I'm not putting this on other people, but like if we were in like hiking boots and big basketball shorts and oversized t-shirts and we got like the camo hat and we went on all the fucking wild rides and like all the roller coasters, I might say like we were just two guys at Disneyland, you know, but like.
It's true. Like if we, for example, went to the aquarium to suss some sharks, we'd be just like a couple of dudes rolling through the aquarium.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like based on the place. I think that's really.
Or like the place, what you're wearing, like it's like, and it's fine that it like kind of fluctuates, you know, like sometimes even like, you know, when I come into work, like if I'm wearing like a tracksuit and hoodie, like I will kind of almost sometimes act a little bit differently. It's not disingenuous. It's just like I'm just acting
We're just
more.
we're playing with things. Yeah, because I was kind of thinking, but I was also just thinking, you know, we've had people are talking about, you know, last year was the year of the girl math, girl dinner, et cetera, which I think is interesting because that was like a cultural suggestion that there were no sort of gendered terms to the idea of a girl because people were definitely using it. And I have seen more people talk about like, I've seen groups of like, you know, people that identify as women just talk about going out with the boys, which I kind of like.
I do like it, but I do think that like if you look at it, in the lens of like trends and stuff, as you just said, it is more of like people aren't talking about gender, they're talking about masculinity and femininity.
Yeah. Okay. So you think it's like, people are engaging with the connotations of different actions or different behaviors that they're doing. And okay, cool.
Because it's like last year was the year of the girl. And this is obviously we're only in May. So it's like, I don't know, like where the year 2024 is taking us. But last year was like the year of the girl. What I've seen online this year is the girl has had her time and now we're in like the year of the woman. You know, that with like the mob boss and like the office siren and that sort of like, it's a mature version of the girl. And I see less people picking up trends and using trends that have the connotation of like using the word girly and stuff like that. My corner of the internet, it's the fucking year of the clown. All right. The jester, the clown, the harlequin, the genderless goblin. That's where we're at.
I like clown.
I liked clown, and then I learned more about jesters, and now I'm a firm jester. I did leave the clown at the door at the beginning of the year. But I am in my jester era.
I think I need to go and look deeper into this idea of like, you know, just being a gnome or like just like a teaspoon.
Like a wizard. Yeah. That's why I think it's like, I think when you become like more open to descriptors, like I think that gender and it like it can become fun again. Because it's like, because it is all like inherent, like you do have that part of your identity which is firm, and it's like you sort of have needs, wants and needs that need to be fulfilled to feel affirmed in your gender. But then past that, it's like an onion layers, right? It's like past that, a lot of it is just performative and having fun. And that's like at least what I believe we should be doing. We should be having fun with how we express ourselves. So it's like if you, like for example, this year, I'm like leaning hard into the jester and the wizard and the magical sorcerer coming from the woods vibes. And that to me is like a fun expression of gender. It's not gendered. It's just, do you know what I mean? It's so
it's like
complex.
It's a vibe. And I think that's, I feel like that is interesting. And because what only annoys me is like when people are just as women, and then that sends me because I'm like, I will tell you if and when I'm a woman. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And you're allowed to do that. Like,
yeah, but if someone said, you know, as clowns, I would be like, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, that's the thing. I think, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people who are cis women or like whatever, like, and you know, same for everyone. I think there is parts of like womanhood or manhood or adulthood. Like we all have that kind of inner fight with, and like it's kind of like finding your place within that and figuring out if there is a place for you within that and how that looks, and that changes like throughout our lives, right? So it's like, you know, especially like considering like our episode talking about queer temporality, like you said yourself, like you're struggling with folks in your life that are like going through different things that you're not going through. Had you like, And the question to you would be, if you were like having a baby right now or getting married or whatever, would you feel more affirmed in being called a woman? Like, or would that make you feel worse?
Oh God, worse.
Yeah. Okay.
I think worse, you know, because if and when I have a child or whatever, if someone told me that I was like a beautiful, radiant woman, I would absolutely lose it.
Well, that's what kind of puts me off like having a baby, because I don't really want to be seen as like a trans person having a baby, or like, you know, let's say I leaned into just like being a woman or like for the sake of safety or whatever. Like I just couldn't deal with it. I'm like, no. I'm an alien and I'm
having
a spawn. Like I'm having a baby. Like I am enacting the miracle of life. I'm basically a tree. The concept of like having a baby being like such a gendered experience, like that honestly puts me off having a baby.
Totally, I agree with that. I wish more, I don't know, baby industry people started referring it as alien spawning.
Maybe that's a market we need to like get into.
Well,
like,
when I was egg freezing, that's I only wanted them to be referred to as like my alien babies or like my alien eggs, because I found when I was going to, like, it took me a long time to find like an IVF clinic that didn't freak me out, and the one that I went through, ironically, on the surface looks very, very freaky. It's like this pink palace with flamingos and like Coco Chanel type lettering and motivational quotes and everything. And the reason that I went with it, not because I like that aesthetic at all, and it's absolutely like just crazy.
Okay.
However,
it was so over the top.
It was so over the top that I was like, this is great. What I didn't like was all of the ones that somehow said that the IVF experience, the egg freezing, they were trying to make it look as natural, quote unquote natural as possible, and saying, you know, this is the natural, like we're bringing a baby into the world, like you're a mother, this is very maternal. That freaked me out. I wanted the Coco Chanel like motivational quotes and fluffy pink pens, the Elle Woods version, because at least at that point I was, you know, it somehow was so pink, it was genderless. No one told me that I was radiant, soft, powerful, or called me mama to be.
Yeah.
I felt like I could be like, this place is pretty weird for me to have my alien eggs taken out of my sack and kept in a cryogenic chamber until I wish to rear them.
Well, that's the thing. Like that for you is like a really affirming experience of your gender.
Huh.
Like, you know what I mean? Like no one can escape the perils of gender. Like
it's so true.
You know? And that's just as much as like, you know, I would love to actually be a guest on like a parenting podcast and like talk about these things with, you know, people, because it's like you're like living hell is someone's dream and they really want that, and that's something that they're really yearning for, and it's like totally valid and like good for them to be able to access that, because that is affirming of their gender and their experience of life.
It's almost like life is a glorious, diverse tapestry of many people and dreams.
Exactly.
Rudy.
Exactly.
We're all different.
We're all just grains.
And that's what makes
it
beautiful.
Is that a lyric?
No, I made that for you.
Oh, thank you. I was just going to say we're all grains of sand in the hourglass of time, but that's kind of more macabre and morbid.
I like it.
I like it too. That's why I wanted to say it.
All right. Well, thanks for gender therapy with Rudy. We're out of detention.
No worries. Yeah, that's all for detention today, folks. Thanks for joining us on our wild ride here. As you know, we don't really leave much in our back pockets when we waltz into detention like the feral rats we are. So yeah, if you have been listening to us waffle on any of your chosen audio platforms.
What age were you when you chose your audio platform?
Listen, iPod Nano. That's my audio platform, and I will hear nothing else. iPod Nano only. If you have been listening to us through an audio medium, check us, follow. You know, that can never hurt. In fact, it does the opposite of hurting. It heals our tired and weary souls. But apart from that, you can access more episodes like this over on our Patreon. We do have a free tier you can access, which gives you some content for free, which is great. But other than that, have a great day. Go drink some water. Have a nice snack. Go out into the sun, you know. Take a moment. Deep breath. And out. And that's where I'll leave you today.
Well,
Where are you going to leave the people, Hannah?
thanks for opting into detention and keep causing a ruckus so that we can see you back here.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.